How do you start cleaning when your house is a disaster? Where do you start? Do you start in the bathroom, kitchen, bedroom? I'm here to talk about that today. Hi, if you're new, my name is Alicia, and on this channel, I'd like to talk about decluttering, cleaning, and budgeting. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, give this video a like and maybe subscribe and stick around. Okay, so where do we start when our house is a disaster? It could be overwhelming when everything is just everywhere. There's clutter everywhere. There's mess everywhere. Where do you start? Um, I like to do what is called a domino chore, and I did not coin this phrase domino chore. Amanda from This Crazy Life has a home cleaning, stay at home mom channel, and she's actually the one that coined that phrase, if I remember correctly. And that's where I got that from. But what a domino chore is, it's you pick the easiest thing that you can in the house to work on, clean, whatever. And then usually what that does, it builds the momentum to move to the next thing. So for instance, for me, my domino chore is always in the kitchen doing the dishes or setting up the dishwasher, whatever, because some dishes need to be hand washed. And that's my domino chore. Then from there, I might start cleaning up after the cats. And then from there, I might straighten up some paperwork and et cetera, et cetera. So that's something that you could think about is what is the easiest thing that you can do right now? And, honestly, if that's the only thing that you can do for that day, pat yourself on the back because you did something productive that was going to help you out, right? Because I know all of us have different energy levels, especially as we get older, or if we have different disabilities, or we don't know how we're going to feel that day. And we have things that are overwhelming us. So it's always better to just pick the easy thing. And even if the easy thing looks hard, what I like to do is something called baby steps. And for me, that's taking a job that is on the easy side, maybe even mediocre, but I don't have the energy to do the whole thing at that time. What I'll do is I'll baby step it. So, like I'll use dishes for instance because I already used that, right? Uh, it might be okay. I'm going to load the dishwasher, but I'm not going to turn it on. I'm not going to put the soap in there. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. It's just going to be in there. Okay, done. Deal with it later, right? Or if I've got like some dishes that need to be put away, all right, I'm going to put away the bowls. I'm going to put away the cups. All right, I'll come back to this later. Baby steps. For larger projects, for me, would be mopping the floor. I hate mopping the floor. I've got 4 adults and a bunch of cats. I don't want to mop the floor. But what I'll do is I'll kind of baby step it. It takes more energy, so it's got to be on a day that I have energy. But I will make sure everything's all cleared off the floor, right? And then I'll go room by room. And I might do one room and then go sit for like 10, 15 minutes. Then I'll do the next room or 2 more rooms. And then I'll go sit for another 20 minutes. And that's how I baby step that chore. Um, so, yeah, that's just another way to approach that. That's not part of the domino chore. That's just attacking something from a different perspective. Another thing that you can do when your house is a disaster is go to the spot that pisses you off the most, that makes you angry, that just every time you look at it in your gut, you're just like, "Ugh, I just can't stand this anymore." That's the thing that you got to work on the most. Again, if you have energy, because that's probably the thing that is going to take a lot of your energy if it's pissing you off that hard, right? But again, take the baby steps. Okay, if it's a big pile of paperwork and it's like, okay, we have this table that's a catch-all, right? It's got the paperwork, it's got cat toys on it, it's got packages, it's got this, it's got that. It overwhelms me. So what I'll do is I'll go, okay, right now I'm gonna go through I'm gonna go through bills. I'm gonna find the bills separated out. The boys stuff, okay, they have mail, there's their pile. Okay, I did that for right now. I'm gonna go sit down, deal with it again later. Um, what I also found handy for those types of situations too, when you've got a big area that's just bothering you and stuff, most likely there's a whole lot of clutter in that, right? So what I like to do is I like to have a box that's always set up just somewhere that's kind of out of the way. But I like to have a box that's set up for donations, and that way it's always there. And when it fills up, it fills up, and you put it in the car. Um, and I always have a box going. Right now, I've got a box going. I haven't even packed it yet, but I got stuff all over the place. So that's something I need to do today is get the books in there and get the hangers in there and whatever else I got going on that needs to go in there. We just found some DVDs that we don't want, and that's going to go in there. Um, but yeah, you just want to attack things bite by bite. But when you do that, it makes it less overwhelming, but you still are productive because you made the effort to do the thing. And that's the biggest goal is that, you made the effort. So don't discount making the effort to do something, even if it's small or other people think you did nothing. For you, you did something. And I know that for some people, paperwork is just a huge, huge, overwhelming thing. I know for my mom it is, and I have been trained, quote unquote, since I was a teenager to go through her paperwork for her. So I kind of developed a method, and maybe this method will work for you or for somebody else who gets overwhelmed by just the thought of paperwork. Um, the quickest way to go through a big pile of paperwork is to put it into piles. So you're not even really scouring it. You're not um, looking at each paper in depth, trying to figure out what's going on. You just quickly gone kind of scanning it and then putting it in piles. So, for instance, I have a pile of paperwork, and okay, this looks medical. I don't know what it is. I don't know what year it is. I don't know what it's for. It's going over here. Okay, this looks like a utility bill. Okay, I don't know what utility bill it is, but obviously it's a utility bill. It's going in this pile. This looks like junk mail. Okay, it's going in this pile. This looks like let's see, bank records or something. Okay, it's going in this pile. And then you have everything set up in its own little pile, right? Then at that point, at least you have it organized. So what you can do at that point is either paperclip everything, right? Or if you don't have paper clips, what I like to do is I don't have a way to do this. Layer stuff. So you have like a layer of paperwork going this way, then you have another layer of paperwork going that way, and another layer of paperwork going that. But it's all in its own pile, so that at least way it's separated. That way you can pick it up and go, okay, I know this was the utility pile. I know this was the medical pile. I know this was um, whatever pile. So that's one way that you can go through it. Then when you have the time, you can go through each of those piles and go, okay, how old is this? Do I need to keep this? Most paperwork ever, you only need to keep for about 7 years. I highly recommend if you don't have a file cabinet, getting one. They're kind of harder to find these days because everything is digital. I like to keep hard copies of things, especially when it has to do with my money, because I don't play when it comes to my money and I want everything documented and my medical records. So I have a file cabinet, but you can get like it's not an attaché, but like a little file thing that's just you can hold it with your hand, and that way you keep important documents in it. It's always good to have important documents, hard copies anyway, of things. But as you're going through your paperwork, you don't really need to keep more than 8 years, 7, 8 years. So if you see anything older than that, that at that point you'll determine, okay, this is something I need to keep. Now, if you've gone through a bankruptcy or you've gone through some kind of IRS thing or whatever like that, I think you need to keep those longer anyway, so that can go into a file. So you're going to keep those. But if it's like, a copay receipt or something from when you went to the doctor and it's, 10 years old, throw it out. You don't need it for anything. Unless you just think you wanted to compare prices 20 years down the road, which, hey, you do you, but you don't need to keep it. So yeah, things like that. So then what do you do after you go through all your paperwork? You can shred it. You can hire one of those companies to shred it. Or if you're in an area where you can burn things, burn stuff. I'm in an area where you can burn things. So what we do is about 2, 3 times a year, we'll get the burn pit together and I have a box sitting in my cleaning closet that I actually reuse, because we get shipments and whatever. I keep a small box, put it in the cleaning closet, and I just fill it up with things that need to be shredded. And then when we set up the fire pit, I just burn everything. That's the best way to get rid of it. Shredding again. Just checking my mic because I just made a video that did not record, and that made me mad. Another thing that you could do when you're shredding, which I think is important, is don't keep all of your shred stuff in one trash can. Because depending on where you live, you might have some people going through your trash. Um, I don't think I have that problem where I am, but it's always a good practice to have anyway. So while you're shredding, have like one pile that goes into one trash can and then one pile that goes into another trash can. Separate them. Separate those out into like thirds if you can. Because if somebody really wants your information, they will piece that together and tape it and then use it. People do some things, you know. So just to watch your back, make sure if you're going to shred at home to do that. Um, Along with cleaning and stuff, old credit cards and stuff. When you cut them up, separate them out into different trash cans too, and that way they're all going out at different times too. If you really want to do that, which I do that. So uh, going back to cleaning, so we talked about the domino chore. What's your domino chore if you actually have one? What's your easiest chore to get started when you need to get the place cleaned up? Um, what's the hardest pile for you or area for you to start cleaning up? Like for me, it's mopping. I hate mopping. Oh, and I hate dusting. I I have all the tools for dusting. I even have that cool thing that stretches out for 6 feet. Makes dusting a little bit easier, but I still can't stand dusting. So I get it. I get it. A lot of people still think I'm clean, so I must be doing something right. But we all have our things that I wouldn't say enjoy, but things that are easy for us and things that are hard. All right, so that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, if anything resonated, give me a like and maybe think about subscribing. And I will see you later. Bye. Take care.